guys? I'm Danny Johnson, CEO at TPP, The Positive Porpoise.
I'm Jason Miller from Fins Up SoCal Fan Club.
I'm Scott Howell from Atlanta Dolphin Club.
Mark Angelo, NorCal Dolphin Club.
And you're listening to Clock Blockers, Miami fans' #1 morning show.
Run it, 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 run it.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Stephen D., and we are live on the #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. Getting a little bit of a late start this morning. It's been a little bit of crazy morning here in the Daniels household, but we are up. We're ready to go, and we're ready to do this. I want to say good morning to all my Fins family and all my Finlaws around the globe. Super excited that y'all are hanging out with me this morning. We got a lot to talk about, got a lot to discuss. It's going to be a good time, and it's going to be a good show had by all. But before I get into anything, definitely want to get into the new stuff. Oh, hey, we got a new member, Lance. Lance McDonald, new member. What's up, Lance? Good morning. Thank you for joining the family. There's a seat for everybody at the table. Family. Got to hit my Vin Diesel voice. Family. All right, Lance, you're part of the family now. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining the family. Super excited about that. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't done so on the way in, and also hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. We're less than 50 people away from 8,000. Subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Come on. Do this. Do this, baby. Let's go. Subscribe. If you guys want to join like Lance and become a member of the channel, join. Become a member of the channel. We want to see you. There's a lot of things we'd love to do, and we'd love to have you, that's right, I'm talking about you, as a part of the family, because we are one big family here. They can't do it like the Finlaws in Miami sports music. Cannot do it like them at all. If you guys want to sign up and become a member, I'm putting the join button in the chat box. I'd love to see three new people to sign up this morning. Can I get 3 new members? Can I get 3 new? I also want to give a big shout out to Chef Zhu. Chef Zhu, this day 6 months ago, decided to become the very first member to sign up to the YouTube channel. Chef Zhu has been here since day 1. It's 6 months. I want to give a big round of applause to Chef Zhu for sticking with me from the first day and being here ever since then. So, Chef, I appreciate your love and your loyalty. And Lance, I appreciate your love and loyalty. We got somebody in their 6 months, and we got somebody from the first day. So, Lance and Chef Zhu, you guys are just as important to me. And I'm super excited that y'all decided to support the channel by becoming a member. So thank you. I hope to see more people up there. So come on, join, sign up, become a member. If you guys want to donate to the channel, I don't care if it's $1. If you're able to do it, there's 3 different ways to do it. You guys can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ down at the bottom of the chat. Or you guys can use PayPal, which is MSM Podcast Network. Or you guys can go ahead and also use Cash App. And the Cash App is also $ MSM Podcast Network. Please help the channel grow by donating. There's a lot of different things we want to do. I've also am going to put this into effect too. So today's the 28th. Today's Thursday and Friday. It's tomorrow. And then obviously the 31st, we're going to have a pregame show. Anything that is donated today, tomorrow, and Sunday, 50% of all the proceeds donated today, tomorrow, and anytime this weekend, obviously, Sunday, obviously. We didn't do anything for breast cancer awareness. So I want to be able to donate. I know I actually got this idea from Allie Dolfreaky, and she's donating her fan club. So I want to be able to donate money to her fan club, which is doing a big donation to cancer research. So anything that is donated, 50% of all donations today, tomorrow, and this weekend, I'm going to tally that up. and I'm going to give 50% of it to Southwest Florida Fan Club, to Allie, to be able to donate to whatever cancer research she's going to donate to, because I think that's a big deal, and I want to be able to support other fan clubs and support great things like cancer research. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So guys, donate to the channel this week, today and tomorrow and this weekend. 50% of all donations will go towards that. So I am super excited about that. So make sure you guys do that. Sign up, all that good stuff. So Lance putting $4 to it. I like it. I like it. Lance says my swear jar for the day. All right. Well, yes, if you guys donate 50% of all donations, we're going to send to Southwest Florida Fan Club, to Allie. I thought she had a great thing. Quit that job. The people need you and the show more than that job. My family needs me, Andrevius. I got bills. My goal is to one day quit this job. You are correct. I hope to get there. But in the meantime, 50% of all money raised today, tomorrow, this weekend, 50% of it going to Southwest Fan Club for the cancer donation that they're going to be doing. Okay. Now that I got all that out the way, let me go ahead and also say thank you to our sponsor, Tail Greeter. Tail Greeter is an amazing sponsor. If you guys want to party with us for a fan club weekend at the tailgate on Sunday, go to tailgreeter.com, type in East 32 Dolphins Tailgate. If you guys download the app using the keyword Miami Sports Music. Definitely a lot of stuff we want to do there. So go ahead and make that happen. And we want to party with you during fan club weekend next week. I will be there. I'll be flying in on Thursday. I will be doing a live show on Friday. And I'm going to have everything all laid out on Monday of everywhere I'm going to be that entire week. And I hope that you're going to join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Thank you. And let's go on to the stories. We got a lot to talk about. First things first. Let me go ahead. Cameron 954 says, support Dolph Freaky, $5 donation. I appreciate the donation. Black Dolphin with the $5 donation. I like it. Let's keep them coming in today, guys. 50% of all donations going towards Southwest Florida Fan Club. And Dolph Freaky for their cancer awareness and what they're going to do. I'm actually going to try to have Dolph Freaky on tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit more about that too. So if I'm able to get her on. She's so busy. All right. Let me go ahead and let's go ahead and bring up the first couple things. So first things first. Last night, the Miami Heat played the Brooklyn Nets and advanced to 3-1 in the record and won 106-93. Jimmy Butler had 37 minutes, had 17 points, but the person of the game was Bam Adebayo. Say that 5 times fast. 24 points and 30 minutes, but they looked good last night. They looked super good last night. So I am super excited about that. They went to 3-1. They look good. They just need to keep doing what they're doing. Bob Young, $5 donation. Save the Tatas. I like it. Yes. Nets. Kevin Durant had 25 points, but they stopped everybody else for the most part. And that's why they won the game last night. I do believe that the Heat are one of the best teams in the East and maybe top 10 team in the NBA right now. They just look really, really good after the first week of the season, and I like where it's headed. And, we'll see what happens there. Next up, Florida Panthers beat the Boston Bruins 4-1. They remain undefeated, 7-0. I want to say they've won all their games by 4 goals or more, if I'm correct. They look good. Florida Panthers look dominant. They look good. They look like the best team in the NHL right now. They are super fun to watch. We'll definitely see. Alberto with the $5 donation. Thank you for giving us a platform to share your opinions on our team. You are the real MVP, Steven. Oh, no, man. I try to do what I can do. I appreciate it, Alberto. Yeah, so look, they're 4-1. Now there's going to be some other stuff that we're going to talk about today about the Panthers, which have nothing to do with on the ice. We're going to get to that here in a little bit, but right now they are 7-0. They're 4-1. They look good. They look good. Chef Ju says, shout out to Dolph Freaky. I'm always supporting her. Cameron says, 2 empty netters last night versus Bruins. Great game. Hey, look, take advantage of when you can take advantage. World Series. Last night, game 2 of the Major League Baseball World Series. It is now tied up at 1 game apiece. Houston won 7-2 last night. Had a big second inning, and they look good. Houston looks good. And, so we'll have to see what happens there, but I am very, very excited to see what happens, and we'll definitely go from there. All right, now, one of the stories that I wanted to discuss was Florida Panthers head coach Joel Quenneville is going to meet with Commissioner Gary Bettman today. So let me explain to y'all what's going on. It's very interesting. If you guys remember the whole Penn State fiasco a few years back, where they covered up sexual allegations or sexual predatory stuff by the assistant coach there, Jerry Sandusky, and they knew about it and they covered it up. It's kind of what is going on here. Joel Quenneville was was the head coach, I believe, of the Chicago Blackhawks, and about 10 years ago, in 2010, 10 or 11 years ago. And during his time there was a player by the name of Kyle Beach. And Kyle Beach is a former Chicago Blackhawk player at the center of the investigation into a sexual assault allegations. And the findings were finally released. And basically what it says is that there was an assistant coach or somebody that was affiliated with the team that sexually assaulted him on multiple occasions. He took it up the chain of command, told everybody from the team doctor, everybody, and it was covered up. And supposedly Quenneville is part of that, or is allegedly a part of that. And he's going to meet with Gary Bettman today to discuss his future. But it's very interesting because, again, you look at that and you saw what happened at Penn State. And I just find this very, very interesting that, it seems like South Florida sports can't keep no matter how good the teams are doing, always have some sort of off the field, off the ice issues. The Panthers are 7-0, and this is what the this is the main story of the NHL. Not that they're 7-0. It's a sexual assault case involving a player that, by the way, doesn't even play in the league anymore. And it's insane. So I'm very interested to see what happens today. Quenneville was on the bench last night, but there is a strong possibility here, folks, that Quenneville gets suspended indefinitely from the NHL. And if that happens, what do the Panthers do? They're 7-0. They're the best team in the NHL, and Quenneville is a big part of that. But if he goes, it'll be very interesting. As my wife states, are the Panthers winning because the coach, or will they continue to strive regardless of who coaches the team? That's the ultimate question. That is the ultimate question. It's a conspiracy. All sports don't like Florida. This is a very interesting story that I think we all need to kind of keep our eyes glued. And I think we're going to find out a lot today. But I think it's Chicago Blackhawks, that old culture there. There was a lot of stuff that was wrong, and Quenneville was at the middle of that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Gary Bettman meeting today. Gary is known to bring the hammer down hard in the NHL. So we'll see what happens. So we'll keep a close eye on that story and more. But in the meantime, they're 7-0. They look good. They're the best team in the NHL. We'll see what happens. It happened in Chicago. Stop it, skip it, and just let the process play out. We'll see what happens. All right, now, this is the story I really want to talk about. NFL faces public backlash in unresolved media deals at the league's 2021 fall meeting. So the owners' meeting, the fall meeting, was set up this past weekend. And Mark Davis, the owner of the Vegas Raiders, was obviously bombarded by media members. Everybody was, for many different reasons. Our owner did not talk to the media because of the whole Deshaun Watson fiasco. But I find this very interesting from the standpoint that you look at what's going on right now, and there was, wow, big shout out to Trucker Sean 1981 with the $100 donation. With the $100 donation. Shout out to Trucker Sean 1981. Holy Trucker. I like that 1, 2, 3, 4 Eps. Trucker Sean trying to get Steven to quit that job. Guys, remember, 50% of all donations made today, tomorrow, and Sunday, or this weekend, we're going to donate towards Southwest Florida Fan Club so that they can use that money to donate to whatever cause or charitable cause that they're going to be donating to in regards to breast cancer awareness and cancer research. So big shout out to Trucker Sean. Thank you for the $100 donation. That's awesome. Guys, keep them coming in. Let's have a big day today and tomorrow. Let's have an amazing day. All right, let's turn Spread Kindness Friday into Spread Kindness Thursday and Friday. Let's go. Thank you, Trucker Sean. That's a big deal, man. That's awesome. All right, back to the story at hand. I find it very interesting because when you're looking at the 600 plus emails, and the only thing that came out of it was John Gruden getting fired, rightfully so, I might add. And the investigation itself was into the ownership of Daniel Snyder and the Washington football team. There is so much more to this story than the NHL is not, or than the NFL is releasing. And so I think we as the media, rightfully so, should have a public outcry, release everything. Don't trickle it out. Don't try to cover it up. You're only going to make yourself look bad. Release the 600 page investigation, the 600 emails. Release the full process of the investigation. NFL knows. I truly think the NFL is going to have a huge time on their hands by doing this. And look, here's the reality. You got to hold these people accountable. And a lot of these owners, I think, are going to get the short end of the stick here. Daniel Snyder should have been sold the team. He shouldn't have control of that team anyway. After the sexual misconduct that he had a couple of years ago with the cheerleaders. So the fact that he still has a team is absolutely insane. And I think that the NFL needs to just release everything that they knew. Davis said that if the NFL knew about the emails, it could have addressed the matter before the season. He went on to say, we all have demons in our lives. You have to understand that. And you also have to look at redemption as well. The emails were uncovered as part of an investigation with the Washington football team. The NFL has obtained over 600,000. Let me say that again. 600,000 emails stemming from a probe into the workplace culture at the Washington football team, which is owned by Daniel Snyder. Last July, an investigation into the team to the club presented a highly unprofessional workplace, especially for women. The NFL fined the Washington football team $10 million, and Snyder had agreed to step aside, turning over the day-to-day control to his wife, Tanya. By the way, Snyder still obviously is involved. Don't give me that. He still owns the team. It's insane. The NFL thought the matter was resolved until the New York Times reported that Gruden used offensive comments and emails to then Washington football president Bruce Allen over 7 years. And that was while Gruden was an employee at ESPN. Former females employees of the Washington football team crashed the NFL meetings to request documents about the investigation be released publicly. Goodell addressed the matter on Tuesday, said it would be difficult. This is Roger Goodell, said it would be difficult to provide an additional detail, citing the league's promise to protect the anonymity of over the 150 people interviewed. He said the NFL would be cooperating with Congress. Supposedly, Congress is also demanding that this gets released. Joe Lee says the NFL is not going to do anything but hide the info. It's typical. They already got their sacrificial lamb on Gruden. Chucker Sean, thank you. I just want to help. I love being here so much. Love and respect. Sway2387, don't be surprised if we get hit with the tampering with Watson. Look, I'm to stay on the topic of these emails. I'm telling you right now, when these get released, and what needs to happen is a big media force needs to say something needs to change here. I'm telling you right now, there are going to be so many people. It's going to be an atom bomb, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to. It's going to be crazy. Mark Norcal says Congress should clean their house before demanding anything from the NFL. Hey, look, from the standpoint of the NFL, there's 600,000 emails. Only John Gruden. I know 1 + 1 = 2. So you can't BS me. And I feel like that's what the NFL is doing. And I think that they should have accountability in this particular way, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, that's enough. That's all I got for you. And you know what we do on Thursday is we go Throwback Thursday. And usually I have my man D-Dub on here. D-Dub's not available at this moment. I'm hoping he'll come on a little bit later. But we'll see what happens. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and look at the all-time Dolphins versus Buffalo Bills in regards to head-to-head matchups and, stuff like that. Let's see here. Why is it tampering? Good God, where do you people come up? Nothing is going to happen. These are billionaires. They aren't going to have issues. Money rules, plain and simple. We'll see. We'll see. Mr. Ballgame, you bring up a good point. You bring up a really good point. It goes back to the old saying, billionaires versus millionaires. And, yeah, I mean, that's usually what happens. Okay, so, teams, Miami Dolphins, history, records by opponents, Buffalo Bills. Whew! The all-time record here is Miami Dolphins lead the series 61-53. Miami Dolphins also leads in points scored during this all-time matchup. 2,444 to also Buffalo Bills 2,375. All right, I have somebody who wants to come in to talk about this situation. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Let me bring this in. I want to share this. Invite. Paste. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm doing 15 million things at once. Also, want to remind you guys, if you guys donate anything today, tomorrow, this weekend, 50% of all donations going to get sent towards Southwest Florida Fan Club in regards to what they are donating for cancer research. So donate to the channel. It goes to helping the channel grow, but more importantly, 50% of it will all go towards a great cause. So make sure you guys are donating to the channel. It'll be really good. We'll get up here and, there's a lot to obviously discuss. Today, we got a lot going on. We got all the rumors. We're the national story headline somewhat, but there's a lot of stuff going on in South Florida sports. It'll be very interesting. Big Taz says, look what the owner for the Patriots got away with what he did. I know Baker won't hit a soul this week, but if he walks into Bill Stadium giving them the Brian Cox middle finger, I'll consider his job prior to taking the field. All right, let me bring on a good friend of mine. Y'all know him. Y'all love him. Mr. East 32 himself. Cameron. What's up, Cameron?
Hey, good morning, man. How are you doing, Steve?
Pretty good. You hit me up saying you wanted to talk about a couple of these issues that I'm talking about.
Yeah, no. Since
where do you want to start?
Maybe I can fill in for D-Dub for a minute. But number one, I want to say thank you to Trucker Sean. Holy Moses, $99 dropping that mushroom cloud, as NorCal said. Man, that's pretty cool stuff.
Hey, one more time. Shout out to Trucker Sean. If y'all want to be like Trucker Sean, hey, look, it's going to a great cause. So I challenge y'all to beat Trucker Sean's donation today of $99.99.
Man, that's strong, Trucker Sean. Thank you. Man, this whole Coach Q thing, and it's funny, I'm wearing my Blackhawks shirt today. Ironically, I didn't do that on purpose.
Now, just for everybody knows, Cameron is from Chicago.
Yeah.
He's originally a Cubs fan. We don't blame him for that. He's also a Blackhawks fan. But you're very familiar with what's going on with this whole investigation. Why don't you start from the beginning and then give me the Coach Q view of it?
Well, it's just more than a big picture thing, point of view. And, just listening to the show yesterday and all week with everyone's in their feelings about Deshaun Watson one way or another. And, the Coach Q thing, and we're looking at a Panthers team that's 7-0 and playing the best hockey probably in 2 decades that they have as a franchise. And a lot has to do with Coach Q, right? And the culture he brings to the team and the great job they've done cultivating their talent. And just got me to thinking, man, like none of that should matter. Like nothing on the ice should matter. Nothing that happens in Davie or down in Miami Gardens should matter. Nothing that, happens on the field should matter until, we have some answers. And in the hockey case, we definitely have some answers now, and we have somebody that's come forward that was the victim.
I was surprised he was on the bench last night.
Yeah, me too. And there's a lot of people upset, but he deserves his day in court, so to speak, too, and that's coming today with the Commissioner Bettman, correct? And Deshaun Watson's day in court, or so to speak, is coming, and until that investigation's reached its end, really, as much as we want or don't want Deshaun Watson here, as much as we do or don't want Coach Q here, and understanding what he brings to the team and what Deshaun Watson can bring the team. Like I look at it like, what if that was my brother, or what if it was my sister that was bringing forth these allegations? Like, would you brush their feelings aside? And I think as a society and a culture, we get caught up on what that person can do for our team because we're such ardent fans of the Dolphins, the Panthers, whoever in this case. And lost in this whole thing is really, the feelings and the sentiment of the accusers, right? The people that were victims, whether it's true or not. And I just would like to ask everyone to take a pause and understand that could have been you, it could have been your sister, it could have been your brother. And would you have the same feelings towards their feelings if you were in that same situation? And that's really all, man. Like, Tua is our quarterback until he's not, and until the investigation in Houston or there's a settlement made or some sort of, end to this story. I challenge everyone to really focus on what's going on with our team as it sits today. and the same for the Blackhawks, or the Panthers.
Let me ask you about this Coach Q situation and the Blackhawks situation.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with some of the details? Not all of them, but are you familiar?
Yeah,
with
no,
the
like
details?
very familiar. I have a very good friend who runs the security for the Blackhawks and did so in 2010 when this happened. And I tell you, the stuff that's coming forth is absolutely true. And
basically, what I've read, is that Kyle Beach was a former player, was sexually assaulted by. Was it a coach or a team trainer?
So it was an assistant coach. It was it was an assistant coach,
and then he went through chain of command, team doctor, GM, everybody, and said, "Hey, this is what's going on," and pretty much got the red scarlet letter on him and like, get out of here, like you're not gonna ruin
and
what
it's
we have going on.
They brushed it. They took it as a serious accusation, correct?
Yeah.
But because of where they were in the season, heading towards the Stanley Cup, which they ultimately won in 2010, it was decided by Scotty Bowman, who is the GM that was recently the GM and is now resigned. There's a GM, I believe, of one of the Canadian teams. I think I can't remember who it is, Winnipeg or Calgary, whoever it is up there, that's on the hook for this. Coach Q and a couple other high-ranking officials with other teams. And
it says senior leaders in the Blackhawks coaching and management after Beach reported that Brad Aldrich, the team's video coach, sexually assaulted and harassed him. And I mean, look, it's Penn State all over again. Is how I look at it.
Well, no, it's not even close to being Penn State, because Penn State was I won't get into that, but this issue was
of covering up. That's what I'm saying.
It was covered up 100%. And because they were on their way to the Stanley Cup and they won the Stanley Cup, they decided to address it later after the season. And it never happened. It got brushed under the table. And so that's why, it's an issue, because there was no action taken by the team at the time to address this. They placed the team and the Stanley Cup as a priority over this person's accusations, which were later found to be true. So
now there are some. I don't know exactly what the details of this investigation is. All we know is that Kyle Beach went through chain of command. Now, did that chain of command include Coach Q? That I don't think we know for sure yet.
Absolutely, it did. And it was reported yesterday. He was in a meeting when it was discussed with this person, and he was in the same room.
Okay, well, yeah, and
he
coached last night. That's crazy.
He said he didn't know about it until last week. So, we'll see. We'll see what comes out, and
So let's play this on the ice scenario. Coach Q says, "Hey, you're wrong." They kick him out. What happens to the Panthers at that point? Because, and I want to talk about it from an on the ice issue. They're 7-0. They're the best team in the NHL, and Coach Q, in my opinion, has a lot to do with that. What happens then moving forward? What do you see happening?
Well, if Coach Q is dismissed, if he's suspended, and who knows what, I mean, I think the Panthers are forced to, if Gary Bettman suspends him, I think the Panthers are forced to cut bait, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they can't have this PR nightmare. They're already getting a rash of shit, whether it's warranted or not, for this. So I don't see Coach Q lasting it if he gets suspended. I was surprised that the Panthers didn't suspend him in lieu of this meeting today. To have him on the bench last night was kind of hard to see, to tell you the truth. Especially, when the accuser was all over SportsCenter.
That was the number one trending story last night.
Yeah, and I took time out of my day to watch it, at 6 o'clock.
It's tough to watch. It's tough to watch.
It was really tough to watch. And I don't care if it's 10 years ago, 20 years ago, man, you're responsible and accountable for your actions. And, you know, if someone is hurting because of that and it was egregious, then you should be held accountable. I don't care. And that's just the way I feel. Like it's, you know, it's doing the right thing, right?
All right. So let's move this conversation over to the Watson situation, because that's where people are in the chat box right now.
It's crazy to see that people, you know, I understand like you're innocent or guilty, you know, until proven so in the court of law and in today's day.
And that's the point that I was making yesterday too.
No, I get it. Like, you know, it's you know, teams are put in a tough situation and they shouldn't have to be put in those situations, right? Like that's the thing. Like take it back to the common denominator. Like don't put your team in those positions to have to make those kind of decisions or go under this kind of scrutiny. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where I have a hard time with it. That, you know, you be accountable from the jump, not, you know, 10 steps down the street.
Now, what I will say is everything that I have read on the Deshaun situation case and the Coach Q case are night and day. They're totally different. They're totally two different things. Deshaun Watson's case is the moment he came out and asked for a trade, these ladies stepped up and came out. And from what I have read is that anytime there was some sort of allegations made toward Deshaun Watson, there was nothing ever official. That's one. So there is the thought process that the Texans told some of these women, made some of these women's hush money. I don't know if that's what you want to call it in the beginning, but there was nothing ever further exceed. I don't know. Like the investigation obviously hasn't come out and said what really happened and what hasn't happened. I just think they're totally night and day scenarios.
They are on the surface, they are, right? There's still victims in each case, and that's kind of my point. Like you have to respect the victims. Now, if it, you know, through the due process, if the victims in Houston are found to be not victims and all this is bullshit, then but you have to let that process play out, right?
Yeah.
You know, in my personal feeling, man, it's awful stupid fishy, right? Like the second he asked for a trade, he says that he's not going to come back to Houston, all of these accusations come flying out the window. Like
it wasn't even that they trickled out. They came flying out.
Dude, it's Texas, bro. Like I lived in Texas before I moved to South Florida. Like if you never lived in Texas, you don't understand. Like, because I don't want to say it's racially motivated, but man, it's racially motivated.
It is 100% racially motivated. I've said that from the get-go. Man,
and it's sickening. It sickens me to know that that's exactly the underlying motive behind all this. And
I agree with that. All right, now let's go on to the NFL and these emails and the situation at the owners' meetings. You look at that, and look, I think Roger Goodell and the NFL is doing their best to try to get this story to pass, but it is not passing. And I think that's because there's 600,000 emails, and people want to know what the hell is on those emails.
They have a right to, right? Like there's
shout out to Chase, $50 donation. Love the show. Thank you for all that you do. Shout out to you, Chase. Again, 50% of all donations today, tomorrow, this weekend, I'm going to donate to Southwest Florida Fan Club, to their charity, to who they're sending it to for charity for cancer research. So thanks.
Chase. Thank you very much, Chase. And Fins for Life, to answer your question, I ate the evidence. He asked me if what about that candy bar I stole 25 years ago? I ate the evidence. They can't indict me. But my whole point is that you got to let the due process. You know, I hope Deshaun Watson is innocent. I really do. You know, I hate to see this happen to a man who, up until that point, like has been a solid.
His track record was so perfect. And
Stellar.
By the way, I don't, just real quick to go back, because I want to talk about these emails. let me just say that I think Deshaun Watson does have an issue with women and sexual impurity and that. And I do think he probably crossed the line on more than a few occasions. But what I don't think happened, and this is just my opinion, and again, when the investigation comes out, we'll really see. In my opinion, I don't think any of these women said stop it in the middle of it, stop it, and then. And the women, so some of the women that supposedly had said that, there are text messages that have been leaked that were saying, "Oh, Deshaun, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for everything. I had such an amazing time." So even with that, you're sending mixed messages to a guy who might not know.
Man, whatever happens in that room is between him and that masseuse, right? Like,
yep.
It's such a sticky situation, no pun intended, but
I like what you did there.
But to have these accusations come out the second he got, asked for a trade or said he wasn't going to come back to the team, it's such bullshit.
Yep.
And I sympathize with the accusers. And if what they're saying is true, then Deshaun, has to be held accountable.
100%.
It's awfully fishy, and that's where I'll leave it at that. But going back to the NFL email and the Washington football team, and I'll still call them the Redskins, yeah, I mean, the truth's got to come out, right? Daniel Snyder was one of the most powerful men in the NFL, and he's one of the richest men in the United States.
Washington football team is 4.1 billion plus.
It's crazy.
They're top 5 richest team, or valued at the most richest team in all of sports in North American. I don't understand how he still gets to own them, even after everything he's been through already. And so because of knowing that, and because of knowing the old white man culture that has happened for decades, for centuries, I don't care. And sports, I'm telling you, Gruden was just the scapegoat, and I don't think he's the worst. And I think there's some stuff in these emails that the NFL doesn't want coming to the light of day at all.
I agree. And outside of a congressional hearing about this, I don't think we'll ever find out. And that's how powerful the NFL is. And Gruden's the NFL's boy. He took one for the team in my eyes, to your point. He's still getting paid. He got a $30 million buyout?
Got a $30 million buyout. I mean, 100%. I totally agree. I think I would not be surprised if there was a backdoor conversation that said, "Hey, look, bro, this is what's going to happen. You're going to take an L for us.
Yeah.
But you're going to get your money. And that's how this is going to be."
Hey, he did his deal, right? So if that's the way it went down, God bless him.
But I will say, I think if there's more public outcry, and I do think if Congress does get involved, which I hope that they do.
I think they should.
I would be very interested to see what some of these emails say, not only about Bruce Allen or Daniel Snyder, but because I think if it was just Daniel Snyder, he would have been gone, in my opinion.
It takes a lot to get rid of an owner, right? It takes a lot to get.
But let's go back to the NBA. Let's look at what the Clippers situation had to deal with. He was caught on tape, saying all these horrendous, racist, horrible things. But it wasn't like this was not a known fact inside NBA circles for 30, 40 years. Donald Sterling, everybody knew what Donald Sterling was. There's nobody that can tell me y'all don't know what Daniel Snyder is if you're inside that circle.
Or Marge Schott.
Yeah, come on. And we're sitting here talking about the NHL and this whole cover-up situation. Come on, that's bigger than that. The cover-up there.
So NorCal just brought up a big point, of which I was just about to say. The Congress is more corrupt than the NFL. Absolutely. And the fact, the Washington Redskins franchise is to Washington, D.C. area, and you live in Baltimore, so you know this.
No, I
It's
do.
to that area like the Dolphins are to South Florida. There is no other sport, right? Like the Senators, or what Nationals now that they're called, and the basketball team, they pale in comparison to the Redskins and the impact and the importance that they have in the Washington, D.C. area. Yeah. So you can bet that there is a lot of machinations happening behind the scenes not to release those emails.
So let's kind of put a bow on this, if you will say, because Jolie, she goes again, the NFL is going to cover it up, people. So will the NHL. They'll get their scapegoats.
It's not a scapegoat if he was guilty, right? Like if Coach Q, comes out and says that he covered this stuff up and takes his bid, which I think he should do. Like it's obvious that he was part of that cover up. Like, take your medicine and live to fight another day a couple years.
Todd L says the Carolina Panthers were forced to sell the team. They were.
Yeah,
they were. So this is what I wanted to bring up. So you're looking at the NHL, the NFL, the NBA. You go look at Donald Sterling, the Carolina Panthers situation, Snyder, all these sexual assault allegations. Sports and cover-ups have been together as long as I have known them. That's one. As long as people are making money, people are going to keep making money. And number two, I think we live in a world right now, and this is a totally different, thing. It's 2021. When does the public outcry outweigh the financial benefit to these people, where it doesn't matter how much money you make? Like, wrong is wrong, and you're going to get called out for it, because we live in a cancel culture now. But for some reason, if you have money, it doesn't matter.
I hate the term cancel culture, because if you're responsible for something that you should be responsible for and it's bad, like, you should be held responsible for it. Like, you should be held accountable, right? Like that term cancel culture is a bad term in my eyes. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. To back to your point about about money and society and being 2021. I think what you're seeing is that gap between the importance of the two evening out, right? Like, back 20 years, you can throw 30 million at somebody and make them go away. Like, sign, a non-disclosure, give them 30 million, and, away you go with your money, and we live on. But nowadays, with the advent of social media and social responsibility, I think as a culture, we're more prone to call these people out, vindictively or not, because in the long term, it all makes us better, right? Like, we're here to live a good life and to treat each other well, and that should be the mindset behind it. And that's kind of what I was saying, in my opening statement.
And just because still Drew obviously made it, and I got to bring it up. Dave Chappelle is going to be the next commissioner of the NFL.
Dude, that'd be the best thing ever. That would be the best thing ever. And I was having this argument yesterday. Have you seen The Closer? Have you watched it?
I've watched it all. Yeah.
Have you watched The Closer? Have you watched the last 10 minutes of it, where he talks about his relationship with the transgender comedian?
I anything Dave Chappelle's ever done, I've watched from start to finish.
It was brilliant, and people need to rewatch it and watch it again, because he's being raked over the coals for something, in my opinion, he shouldn't be. So
he shouldn't be 100%. And what's even more funnier about that, if you go listen to other things, he's like, I don't have a problem having this discussion. What I have a problem with is having this discussion with people that have never seen my specials from start to finish,
exactly,
which is a problem, right? And I also have a problem with people that want to put me on blast instead of actually having a real discussion. And the transgender comedian that he was friends with that committed suicide, bruh, like you can say that there is some sort of correlation there that she committed suicide because of cancel culture, because of how that whole messed up situation is. And it's effed up, man. But I think it's funny how we pick and choose what we cancel. I think it's funny how we do that. and that's what I have a problem with. And I hope that we don't do that up here on MSM Podcast Network. I hope we all just know that I'm a flip-flopping you-know-what, and that, and that's how it goes, okay?
That's straight facts.
Go Tua.
Straight facts. Hey, I grew up, listen, man, I'm 53 freaking years old. I grew up as a little kid, like as a preteen and a teenager, sneaking my best friend's brother's Red Fox tapes and Richard Pryor tapes and sticking them in the car and driving around the block and listening to that stuff, man. Like, that stuff was wild at a time, and Dave Chappelle just brings me all back to that. That's it. It's I find it funny. A lot of people don't, but Chappelle speaks the truth in my eyes.
I love Dave Chappelle, and I have no problem saying that out loud. I think that because look, I love comedy. I love comedy, and I think stand-up comedy is dying because of cancel culture. And
Toby, I'm old as sin.
Damn, you're old, Cam. Toby, yeah. Jolie, Flip Floppers, Miami's #1 morning show. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make T-shirts. Frank Mendez says need to cancel this Buffalo this Sunday. You ain't never lie. All right, let's since obviously D-Dub's not here, it is Throwback Thursday. Let's talk a little bit about some of these old school Buffalo games. Let's just say that the Dolphins have not fared well in the last 10 to 15 games. Looking at the stuff here, you'll see the last time we won was 2018, and that was in Miami. And the last time we won in Buffalo was in 2016 in overtime, where we won 34-31. And the last time we won before that was so we've won in Buffalo one time in 10 years.
We still have the all-time series lead by 8 games.
I know, it's crazy because we dominated for the first. A lot of people don't. So obviously, I'm one of those people. The Miami Dolphins were one of the top tier teams in the 70s and 80s and 90s. They were top of the top. They were the marquee games on national television. They were the best. They had Don Shula did something that has never A, been copied here, but B, the only person to ever come close to that, and that's only because he cheats, is Belichick for as long as he did.
That's a topic for another show. Like, what's the milestone moment in Dolphins franchise where it all went to shit? Like when we hired Parcells, Saban, like when Wannstedt, when Ricky left, like because the past, I've been a season ticket holder for 2007. And the Dolphins are getting their money's worth out of me in terms of wins versus return on investment.
Bro, you're hey, man. Bro.
They're killing me.
What are you paying a year per win? I would love to know that. I don't think you would, but I would be interested.
I did the math. It made me cry.
I would probably say Parcells is when it all went to crap. I think Jimmy Johnson had the right mindset. I think the problem with Jimmy was he played at the end of Marino's era. Yeah. And you couldn't get rid of the GOAT. You couldn't get rid of him. So you had to play with what you had. And I think Parcells tried to come in here and Parcells wasn't the coach. I think that was part of the problem. I think if Parcells had been the head coach in Miami, I think things might have been a little bit different.
Who made the decision to take Culpepper over Breeze? Was it Saban?
I mean, it was the medical staff. It was the medical staff.
That's a pretty good milestone there too.
Yeah, I mean, it was the medical staff, and if you look at that, what you'll think is, there was a Sports Illustrated article, and a Sports Illustrated had alternate universe. It was around the time Marvel started being big, and they had an alternate universe where Drew Brees chose Miami, or we chose Drew Brees. Saban stayed. and for the next 20 years, we got Drew Brees and Saban versus Parcells and Brady. Could you have imagined 20 years of that? That would have been awesome. I mean, it would have been amazing.
What could have been?
What could have been? Wannstedt, I always liked Wannstedt. Agent 21 says downhill started when Wannstedt took over. He had good records because of the team Jimmy built. He destroyed Chicago before he came here and then destroyed our Dolphins.
Hey, I was in Chicago when Wannstedt was up there too. Like he had some good teams and good defenses. Like he sucked his last year as a coach, that's for sure. And he ran some good players out of town up there. But when he came down here to Miami, he did well too. He had, Ricky Williams. He had the Ricky Williams show. And, I think that's a whole nother subject too. I think, Ricky Williams got done dirty, but that was a time when, performance enhancing drugs and marijuana and whatever were really looked at negatively.
NorCal says, I think Stephen Ross was too involved and too green when Parcells was here. I still think Greer and Flo are on the right path, but Flo messed up cuttering veteran captains. I don't know if the situation is reversible on the path that we're on right now. You can't change how Tua feels, and he's got to feel jaded. I don't care what he said in the press conference yesterday. You can't change the fact that there have been some horrible draft picks. And I just think, I don't know if this regime can quite, you can't erase the bad stuff that's happened.
And 3.5 years ago now, when Greer and Flores were brought in, and they tore the team down, and you saw grit to the team, and you bought into the culture and the plan, the draft picks, fleecing the Texans for, all those draft picks, and you saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, we were all in on the plan, right? Mm-hmm. And, here we are, in year 3 of this, 3.5, and that plan isn't going to Hoyle, right? Like, it's not going to plan for whatever reason. And, at what point do you hold Greer and Flores accountable? Like, in my opinion, they should be held accountable now, right? These draft picks, we're talking about trading, Igby now. And we're talking about, we've already moved our first round, cornerstone right tackle into guard, because he sucks on the outside. And I don't know how much time are you guys going to allow, Greer and Flores before, we're running them out of town, because I think we're about there.
I think it's because of fans' PTSD. I think it's because fans have been losing for 20 years. I think if this was any other prior regimes, okay, we'll give you another couple of years. But I just think fans are over it. I think they're sick of waiting.
And we were 10-6 last year, and all the expectations and lofty expectations that we had. I mean, you and I both sat up here. You said 13-4, and I said 12-5, and we'd be lucky if we get 5 wins this year.
Oh yeah,
so we're just as guilty, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but look what we were basing it on, Cam.
We were 10-6, and we had a good flow. We sat up here and analyzed the roster, and we agreed that there was more speed and more depth on this roster going into the season than we've had in the past 3 years. So there was multiple reasons for optimism, correct?
Yeah.
And then we had a swear jar. We had
you had a couple of them this morning here, bud.
We had a fairly relatively easy schedule, right? We get through the first 5 games. I thought we were going to be 3-2, and then we go on like a 7-win bender. But now we're going into Buffalo hoping not to get whooped by 40 points.
All right. So yesterday, there's do you listen to the Pat McAfee show?
I didn't get a chance to yesterday.
All right. So Pat McAfee, by the way, love Pat McAfee. Love his podcast. Love his what he's built. is amazing. I hope that one day we can even get a tenth of what he's created over there, that we can do that here at Miami Sports Music. But he's got a great show, and there's a lot of people that are on a part of his staff, and one of them is a Dolphins fan. His name is Gump Cathart. But he's a big Dolphins fan. And so he was talking. He's one of the people that is a behind the scenes person for his show on his staff. And so he was on his show talking about the Dolphins yesterday. And here's about a 2.5-minute excerpt from the show yesterday from the Pat McAfee show.
Real quick, Dolphins. What is the purpose of getting Deshaun in there in the next 6 days, contingent upon everything being kind of handled and justice found off the field with everything he's got going on there, other than just to potentially continue to piss off Tua and maybe make the team continue to be kind of driven apart? What's going on down there in the Dolph fam, the Fins Up community going?
My only thought that makes sense is Chris Greer is trying to save his job. This is his last-ditch effort because he screwed up every fucking draft pick he's had to try and trade every draft pick we have left to get Deshaun Watson.
Chris Greer is the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. And now, he is also the one that drafted Tua, right?
Yeah.
And Tua, if you look at the Pro Football Focus grades and rankings, he's top 5 in a few different stats. I don't know if it's wins. It isn't, but it is some other stats that prove that he can be maybe a good football player. Yeah. Maybe Tua becomes a great football player. We know nothing about him at this point, but why would Chris Greer, who's the general manager who drafted Tua, want to move on from Tua just a year, less than 2 years after drafting Tua?
It makes no sense. And Stephen Ross is an asshole.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, he was asked a question yesterday. He could have just answered it like a normal human being. He said, I know what you're going to ask. See you later, and just walked off.
No, but I don't think he knew what the person was going to ask, right? Because it could have been Deshaun Tua, but also he's an owner. I mean, there's email. So I know what you're going to ask. I got a lot of questions. You want A, B, or C? I mean, this could be a whole thing. But I don't fully comprehend why you would want to do this. And if they traded him, if Deshaun was traded to Miami for 3 first-rounders and it was contingent upon whatever happens off the field, so it's like kind of in limbo, purgatory looming. If everything gets handled, he'll be in Miami. What does that do for Tua while he's just sitting there? You know, there's like no good outcome, I don't think. And maybe this is just all bullshit because we're 6 days away or 5 days away from the trade deadline. But now it's coming from Miami and from Houston. What do they know that Ian doesn't know, or Ian's like, I don't think this is imminent or whatever?
And Tua has legitimately played 8 games. So what in those 8 games has told you anything different from the tape that you've watched on why you drafted him?
So you're furious about this even being in a conversation still?
I mean, I'm loyal as a dog. I'm stuck with this fucking team forever. That's who a lot of people.
I don't think you have to be.
Yeah,
what about Tua?
That's who I am.
Stuck with Tua?
I mean, that's who I am.
Yeah, what if Tua leaves? Will you go follow Tua? No. You're stuck with the team.
Yeah, that's why I'm so pissed off.
Wow. First of all, swear jar, big time. I'm gonna have to go bill Pat McAfee for that.
We should have him on.
I would love to have Pat McAfee on. Oh man, like, what are your thoughts? Because I feel like Gump, the guy who was talking there with Pat McAfee, who's a big time Dolphins fan, I think he feels the way a majority of the fan base feels. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. First of all, but his analyzation of Ross is dead wrong, because he said if he even thought like a normal person, well, Stephen Ross doesn't think like a normal person. That's why he's Stephen Ross and where he is. You know, he owns arguably one of the largest commercial real estate companies on the planet, and has amassed billions of dollars in wealth beyond our conception. But you don't think like a regular person to get where he is, number one. And number two, I totally agree. Like, you can hear the frustration in his voice, right? Like, he's a F-bomb Dolphin fan for life. He's with this team for life, and that's how we feel. So we want to see this team do well year after year after year. And we don't have a lot of patience for a rebuild, but we bought into Greer and Flores, and now that their plan looks like it's shit, we're frustrated, and rightfully so.
I think that the Miami Dolphins, when it's all said and done, I hope that I'm wrong with what I'm about to say, but I just feel like this is the direction that we're headed. I think we're going to do another complete tear down and rebuild. I think we're going to miss out on Watson. I don't think that we're going to give Tua the support he needs to be a good quarterback in this league. And by the way, he will be, because he'll go somewhere and flourish. Let him go to Pittsburgh. If he goes to Pittsburgh, he will be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like,
and let me ask you this: Why wouldn't Pittsburgh take a gamble on Watson? Hear me out. Like, so what if Watson is,
because they've already dealt with Roethlisberger? They don't need another one.
Well, so they know how to handle that culture. They know how to handle the issues. And Pittsburgh's a lot different than Houston, believe me. Anyway, my point is that I guess my point should be is that let's say that Tua rides out his rookie contract here. He's never going to re-sign here under Greer and Flores. Right? So he plays.
I don't think it's ever going to get to that, but I agree.
Let me play out this scenario. Like, they lose to Buffalo, but he plays really well, right? They're in the game until the fourth quarter. And,
like Tampa.
Exactly. And Tua is doing his job. Let's say he has 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, 1 interception, like the Tua that we've seen the last 2 weeks. But, they can't stop, the defense can't stop Allen. Special teams sucks again. And this is the theme throughout the year. Do you call Tua's season a disaster? Do you call it progress? How do you analyze Tua if he finishes the season, top 7 in QBR rating?
What's your question?
Like, Watson's not here. Tua continues to develop. Like, you're in a position now at the end of the season where you have to buy into Tua for the remaining 2 years of his contract.
I think that. All right, let me counter this. Let me say, here's the best case scenario for the Dolphins. The best case scenario for the Dolphins is Tua does great this year. They decide to retain everybody, but Greer and Flo sit down and say, okay, we need to bring in some veteran offense and defensive coordinators and some veteran, developmental coaches to help develop these young players. They bring him in, they keep the current playbook that they have, and then next year they go 13-4, right? And I think if that's the best case scenario, but there's no way that happens. There's no way I see that happening even remotely close to happening.
They can be about $86 million under the cap with a few players' contracts missing after the end of the season, right? Like, they're actually in a position to be buyers in the free agent market.
They're going to be sellers at the trade deadline here.
Well, who cares? I mean, they're 1-6. So,
yeah, but X is gone. I think X is as good as gone. You're never going to get a better value for him than you are right now.
And you know what? Take it, because, is he ever going to replicate his season that he had last year? I don't think so. He's had 2 turnovers this year.
I could be wrong, but I don't see that happening.
He's the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. Let's put it that way this season. So on a 1-6 team, that's a luxury, plain and simple. X's and O's, right? So I would expect X to get traded probably for a 3rd round draft pick,
which would,
a 3rd and a 5th. You'll take it.
And you could have got a first 8 weeks ago for him.
And you trade Igbenomedy for a 2nd round pick.
You think you're getting a 2nd round pick for Noah Igbenomedy?
I wouldn't trade him for a bag of footballs. Get
out of here. There's no way.
There's not a team out there that would give him but you're selling him on potential, I saw somebody on Twitter asking, why don't they trade him on try him at wide receiver?
What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose? You invested a 1st round draft pick in a guy. You better get something out of him.
NorCal says, before week 1, everyone thought Beef, Lowe, and Greer overachieved in 19 and 20. 21 serious flop, but let's see what happens in the next 10 games.
Yeah, listen, and he's got a great point. There is a shit ton of football to be played. And
you owed to the swear jar big today.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll donate. But he brings up a great point. I mean, you know, Flores' track record as a coach tells me that his team sucked through, October. And then after which, he kills it November, December. And, gets his teams. He's done it. He did it last year, and he did it his first season.
Is Jerome Baker gone? Do you think Jerome Baker gets traded?
No, they just re-upped him, man. I don't think he's gone. They love Baker.
He hasn't played well.
He hasn't played badly.
That's true. I'll give you that. Cam is going to need $400 at the next tailgate to pay to that swear jar, just to pay that swear jar.
Hey, you're bringing 250, so I'm halfway there.
Oh man. So I want to talk two more things about this. What do you need to see in the next 10 games? Let's take Buffalo out. Let's take this game out. No matter what happens, is going to happen.
No, I want to include Buffalo.
Okay.
Because this Buffalo game is going to tell you a lot about
how bad we are. We already know that.
No, it's going to tell you a lot about what these players feel about Flores. If they go out there and bust their ass, and I don't care if this score is 35-0 or 35-31, if they're playing hard through the last whistle, then that's a good sign that Flores still has this team and the locker room in his hip pocket. Mm-hmm. But if they go out there and lay an egg and just sloppy turnovers and penalties and do the things that tell you that they're mentally not into it, I think you got to look at making a change in Flores, man. You cannot lose the locker room. Like, you cannot put out a product on the field that is lethargic. And
but bro, there are some people of the mindset that will say that they've already lost the locker room.
And Buffalo game will tell you if they have or not. If they're missing assignments, if they're making penalties and stupid turnovers and just playing lethargic, then that'll tell you. And so that's all I'm looking for. You asked me a question. What are my expectations? In this next game, that's what I'm looking for. But overall, all I'm looking for is Tua's development. As I mentioned the past 2 weeks, I just want to see him progress and get better and get a groove with, his wide receivers and run this offense in an efficient manner, which he's shown to do the past 2 games. And so I think he's on the right track. I want to see this team run the ball more. And I want to see our defensive line get more pressure on the damn quarterback because we drafted Jalen Phillips to do just that, and he played 15 snaps last week. Whether it was because of his ankle or not, I don't know. But we need to start seeing some more pressure from him and from Van Ginkel, and see the development of Van Ginkel. He just not making the plays he made last year. Remember, he had like 3 or 4 turnovers himself last year that were game changers.
I want to remind everybody, if you donate to the channel today, 50% of all donations today, tomorrow, as well as this weekend, I'm going to send over to Allie and the Southwest Florida Fan Club, who's going to be doing they're going to be doing a donation to cancer. Matter of fact, let me bring up exactly what they said. I want to make sure that I get it right. Here we go. So, sorry, I'm looking up like 15 things at one time. All right, while I'm trying to find it, let me ask you another question.
Yeah, man.
Do we re-sign Gesicki in the offseason?
I think you have to. He's a top 5 tight end who's still on an upward trajectory. I don't think you take away, if that's a multifaceted answer to this question. If Tua is your man and you see the rapport that's being developed by Tua, we were expecting this type of chemistry to be built with, Parker and Will Fuller. Neither of those two have been on the field enough to do that, but you're seeing it with the Gesicki. I don't think you can afford to take away that weapon. And tight ends, don't break the bank. you should pay the guy as a top 5 tight end, and it's still not going to break your salary cap.
Okay, so by the way, Allie wrote, it's almost the end of the Crucial Catch Month. Alex, William Butsky, and I are raising money for Dolphins Cancer Challenge. It would be so cool for the remaining days in October if everyone just donated $1 in support of our rides. Every dollar counts. So what they're doing is they're raising money towards Dolphins Cancer Challenge for their rides. So that's I want to be able to donate the money to them for their rides to the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. I just want to make sure I say it the right way. So that's what we're going to do. 50% of all money today, tomorrow, and this weekend, we will donate towards Alex's and Allie's of Southwest Florida Fan Club's Dolphins Cancer Challenge. And we're also going to be doing some stuff with that too here in the future. But we'll send the money over to them for that. So it'll be good stuff there. So donate to the channel. 50% of all donations go towards a great cause.
Can I ask you a question when you're finished?
Yeah. The other 50% go towards the channel and helping the channel grow. Go ahead.
So there was a couple signings, ex-Canes that got signed to the Dolphins active roster yesterday. Sheldrick Redwine, who played decently enough and he's a third or fourth safety cornerback.
Right here, baby.
The U. And it's good to see him in a Dolphins uniform. But Duke Johnson, guy had almost 7,500 yards, something.
I'm actually mad at that signing.
Well, I wanted Frank Gore. So.
I wanted Frank Gore, baby. That's what I wanted.
But I guess Frank Gore is really serious about his boxing thing, and I know he's training right down the street at Bomarito's and upstairs.
I want to see him so bad play in the NFL with his son.
I do. I want him to finish as the number 1 running back, but that's neither here nor there. And he'd be a great story for the Dolphins. But Duke Johnson is a legitimate threat. Like he's just more than a roster signing, right? Like he's
Duke Johnson.
Yeah, he's a compliment to. I mean,
you got to realize how long is Malcolm Brown going to be on the IR for?
At least 3 games.
At least 3 games.
And so Duke Johnson's insurance, because he does the same exact thing as our running backs, Ahmed and what's his name?
Gaskin.
Gaskin, thank you. That's my old man brain. So you can plug him in and he gives those 2 guys a breather. I get it. But does Duke Johnson really move the needle for this team?
I'll say this. I think that Duke Johnson will dress in one of the next 3 games, if not multiple, if not all 3. So I definitely think that we would have signed him. I personally would have liked to seen Frank Gore for personal reasons. I would have liked to seen Adrian Peterson. I don't know if Duke Johnson is the solution to any of these issues. I always find it funny when somebody goes down and you have a chance to bring in a free agent or bring in somebody that's been sitting on the couch for, and I put that in quotations, why wouldn't you bring in the best player available? And I don't know if Duke Johnson is the best player available at that position. I just think the coaching staff, I don't trust our coaching staff's talent evaluation.
Well, we don't know. Like Adrian Peterson may not be ready. Adrian Peterson may not want to come to Miami.
You're 100% correct. I'm not saying that that's not the case.
Adrian Peterson whips his kids with a switch, and maybe Greer doesn't want that. I don't know, man.
Bad joke, but yes, you're right.
And like I said, Duke Johnson is basically a carbon copy of what Gaskin and Ahmed are. So I see that signing and understand it.
I do too. But again, I put the question to you that I don't think that we sign for the best player available at that position. We sign best on the best player available in the offensive or defensive scheme that we have. And I think that's where we go wrong. That's one of the places where we go wrong.
I agree with that. Like you know when in camp when we cut DJ Fluker,
yes,
and the very next day, Jason Peters was signed by the Bears. and he hasn't missed a snap.
Nope.
And he's playing pretty well for a guy who's, I think, a 12, 13-year veteran.
But Cam, he might not want to come to Miami. He might want to, go to Chicago.
You're exactly right. You know it. Touche. But we got Davis, St. Thomas Aquinas in the house. Running his
St. Thomas Aquinas all day. Shout out to Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
I let me go back to the question. So you don't think that we trade Gesicki?
I hope not. I don't. I would hope.
Do you think, and you're of the mindset that we re-sign him?
I think we tag him.
Okay. What about Emmanuel Agba?
I think you sign that guy.
Okay. So here's my question: why the heck, if I'm Mike Gesicki or Emmanuel Agba, because one of those two guys are going to get the franchise tag, the other person, I think the other person walks. I don't think either one of them would want to stay here with the current coaching staff the way that it is.
So that's a valid point, right? But you also have to factor in, is the player comfortable here? Is he accepted by the community? And these players are, they're playing for the bag. If Gesicki is going to get, a guaranteed 4-year contract that makes him the highest paid tight end out of Indianapolis, it'd be tough to beat that. But all you can do as a franchise is make, a fair offer based on what the market is dictating and understanding, the importance of that player to the team. I will say, I think the chances of re-signing Agba are greater than re-signing Gesicki. And
I would disagree.
Well, the only thing that tells me is that they invested a 3rd-round draft pick in Hunter Long. And, basically they're giving Hunter Long the redshirt season this year because they know that Gesicki might not be back or re-signable. They might not have allocated that kind of salary for the tight end position, and they can get, similar production out of a Hunter Long, they think, and Adam Shaheen. So who knows?
How many sacks is Agba at right now?
Well, I think he's got 2.5, but he's top 5, I believe, in pressures. He just hasn't gotten to the quarterback as much as he did last year.
So what would an extension look like per year? Because at the beginning of the year, we were all saying, well, he's at least $1 million per sack. So when he's going to have a 10+ sack season, which could still happen, I guess, but highly unlikely. We all thought he was 13 mil plus.
That's a great question. I don't know what they're being paid, but average defensive end salaries, the highest paid guy is $21 million a year, $27 million a year.
Pamela said, Stephen D. Duke Johnson signing is about fans in the stands. Who the heck cares about Duke Johnson?
Oh, some old head Canes fans. That's who.
Come on.
Seriously, is Emmanuel Agba a top 10 defensive end?
I think he is.
So
now I think he is because I'm a little biased and I see what he contributes on the field. Oh, not in the stat room, in the stat game.
So that means you're around 15 to 17 average salary a year, million.
There's no way I'd give him that right now.
I mean, that's what Trey Hendrickson's getting paid, and he's in the 10th highest paid defensive end in the league.
But it goes back to the saying, why the heck? It goes to this regime doesn't like to have veterans, and so maybe that's why Agba hasn't been re-signed. Gesicki hasn't been re-signed because no front office in their right mind would leave these two guys unsigned the way that they're at right now, which again is why I don't trust Grier.
Well, you're exactly 110% correct. Grier allocated more money to the defensive backfield and the wide receiver room than any other team in the NFL. And so that comes at a cost, right? You're You've got second-rate offensive linemen, rookie contracts all over the place. So you can afford Fuller. So you can afford Byron Jones. So you can afford an extension for X. And, Parker, what he's getting paid $12 million a year. So to me, those guys, all three of those guys I just mentioned are coming off the books next year.
If you'd like to donate to the channel, MSM Podcast Network, PayPal, MSM Podcast Network, and Cash App, which is $MSM Podcast Network. If you donate one of those two ways, there's definitely less fees that come from that rather than YouTube's end. Again, 50% of all donations we're going to send towards Alex and Allie's Dolphins Cancer Challenge stuff. So we're going to do that. So donate to the channel. Goes to helping the channel grow, and 50% of all proceeds today, tomorrow, and this weekend going towards a great charitable cause. So please donate to the channel. It is a good cause. All right. Last question I have for you before we start wrapping up for the day.
Yeah, man.
What do you see for this weekend, man? Like what are your thoughts about this? Like, I have to ask, what are your thoughts of this weekend, man?
I think I said earlier, I want to see Tua,
No. I know what you want to see. What do you think we're going to see? That's the question here, Cameron. I'm putting you on the spot, bro.
So in my FanDuel, which I've won the last 3 weeks, or come in the top 3.
So drinks on you next time. Drinks on you. I got you.
I drafted Allen, Isaiah McKenzie, who roasted him last year and is coming off the injured reserve to play this week. I drafted their backup tight end because Knox isn't playing this week. I expect, probably a 17 to 21 point loss.
So the point spread in Vegas is 13.5.
Ooh, that's it?
13.5 points.
See, that seems low to me.
That's high. You don't normally ever see it over 7 or 8 in the NFL.
The Buffalo Bills, the first game of the season, came into Miami and whooped them, or second game of the season, and whooped them 35-0 in Miami. Now Miami is going up to Buffalo. With all of this media garbage and distraction going on, with questions about the confidence in the head coach that inside the locker room, and Buffalo has been playing some decent ball, and they're considered, top 4 team in the league.
NorCal says DraftKings paying Cam swear jar infractions.
DraftKings FanDuel, brother, but you're right. My expectation is that we get drubbed, man. I can't see it any other. I want us to win. I want us to pull a rabbit out of the hat. It would be worth that.
If we win this weekend, bro, it's the Super Bowl. It is the Super Bowl.
As that T-shirt says, it's so Dolphins to go up.
If we win this weekend, boy, let me tell y'all ain't gonna be able to shut me up next week.
Hey, unless Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams are running the Wildcat, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. We need some sort of miracle. That's definitely for sure.
Hey, you limit the turnovers, right? You play, you control the clock, you establish a run game, and you put pressure on Allen, who, you get Allen outside of the pocket, he makes some scatterbrain throws. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but the possibilities are slim, but it's possible.
So, real quick, yesterday there was a trade that happened with the Texans. Texans are centering veteran running back Mark Ingram back to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, you see what it was more interesting to hear the reaction from some of the veterans in the Texans locker room about that than it was the actual trade, right?
I didn't hear what they said. What did they say?
I can't remember the wide receiver's name, but he's a veteran wide receiver, and it just he got up on the mic and he's like, I don't know what the Texans are doing, trading away veterans, especially someone like Mark Ingram, who's respected as he is in the locker room, and he questioned the direction of the franchise. Without saying that he wants out too, he just said he wanted out too.
Hey, bro, I don't know what this is from, but I think it's pretty funny. So, Solo and I were at the NASCAR race this past weekend.
Of course.
Look at this.
So this is a new sport. This is the new racing league that the WWE started.
Is it really?
No.
Dude, that's wild. He kicked in the door panel. That's crazy.
I think he went through the windshield. He
went through the windshield.
He went off the top rope, boom, and then Jimmy Fly Snuka, boom. Superfly, boom.
Oh my God, that's so good. That is so good. I saw it and I was like, I got to show this. This is too good not to show. Again, Twitter's amazing.
Hey, I love Twitter. So Adam Schefter, Brandon Cooks is the wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver for the Texans. And on Brandon Cooks' Twitter, right after the trade, his exact quote, "This is bullshit. Such a joke."
You can't make that up. When players are frustrated, they're frustrated. And I will say this, the Dolphins players, at least on paper on camera and on the mic, have been we're getting along great behind the locker room. This is a very family friendly team. I don't know if that's BS or not, but
hey, you know what I like? I think the residual that we're seeing out of all this is really the high character person that Tua is, taking the high road and saying all the things and really, keeping his focus on the game. And that's commendable, because for a rookie to go through all this BS, man, like as a supposed, face of the franchise, it's commendable.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you said that. So, as you know, there are a lot of famous Dolphins fans. All right. Josh Gad, you know who Josh Gad is, right?
Yeah, man. Josh
Gad is the voice of what's the snowman in Frozen? What's his name? I can't think of his name. I have kids. I should know this. But anyways, let me go to the thing here. All right, here it goes. So Josh Gad is a famous actor. He's done movies with Kevin Hart. He's Olaf. He's done a lot of movies, but he's a big-time Miami Dolphins fan. And so he went on Twitter yesterday and said, "I'm a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan. I've dealt with the good and the bad." Hold on, let me change the screen. I've dealt with the good and bad for a long time, mostly bad. I'm in love with Brian Flores, and I think he's one of the great. I think he's going to be one of the greats. I love this franchise through and through, but the organization's handling of Tua is wrong, insane, and unfair.
Yeah, I saw that. And Alan Pooper retweeted that into oblivion. Like, that got a lot of play yesterday, and he's not wrong.
What do you think about that?
He's not wrong. Like, I think the handling of the Tua situation is wrong, insane, and unfair to the player. There's a lot. I think a lot could have been done to keep this under wraps a lot better than they have. If their interest in Watson was true, they didn't have to not downplay it in the media as much as they had. Like, I think they're going out of their way not to say anything, right? Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, it's kind of been the modus operandi of Greer and Flores. Like, they're pretty tight-lipped guys, and they don't lead on too much publicly in the media. So, for better or worse, and I think we're seeing the worst. Like, they haven't been publicly behind their quarterback, I think, as much as they could have been. Like, you saw the Carolina Panthers yesterday say, "We are not interested in any Deshaun Watson trade, period." Like, at this time, like, that's how you squash a rumor. You saw Mike Tomlin get up there in front of everybody and say, "I am not leaving the best job in the NFL. This stuff about me going to college is bullshit." Like, he said, "I'll never say never."
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
Never.
Here it is. Oh, I'll replay that real quick because it was absolutely.
Hey guys, I don't have time.
You got it.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
All right. Here it is. This is Mike Tomlin denouncing the USC rumors.
speculation. I mean, that's
and Palmer connecting you to some college jobs.
Hey guys, I don't have time for that speculation. I mean, that's a joke to me. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sport. Why would I have any interest in coaching college football? That'll be the last time that I address it. And not only today, but moving forward. Never say never, but never. Okay? Anybody else got any questions about any college jobs? There's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
I love it.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
Thank you. Anybody asking Sean Payton about that? Anybody asking Andy Reid about stuff like that?
My man just got up and walked away. He said, "Son."
And Palmer connecting you to some.
I mean,
college jobs.
it's too funny, man. It is too funny.
If Deshaun Watson come out and said he's only waiving his no trade clause for the Miami Dolphins, that's fine. The Panthers still did the right thing in saying, like, we're not interested in Deshaun Watson. Like, they squashed it, period. Regardless of, if Deshaun's squashing it or if the Panthers are squashing it. But you haven't heard the Dolphins say, we're not pursuing.
He said,
Watson.
is Andy Reid or who else? Who's the other coach?
It's awesome.
He's like, I think it's funny. But that is how you shut down a rumor.
Yeah.
That's how you shut it down.
And you haven't heard Greer or Flores say that. So, you got to assume that the rumors are true, right?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. All right, man. Final thoughts of the day.
Final thoughts of the day, man.
By the way, before you do final thoughts of the day, guys, real quick, and ladies, donate to the channel. 50% of all donations go to a great cause, Dolphins Cancer Challenge, Allie and Alex's from Southwest Florida Fan Club. So please donate to the channel. If you owe money to the swear jar, go ahead and make sure you pay up your money to the swear jar. Yeah, go ahead.
Final thoughts of the day. I'm kind of going to retract. I'm the flip-flop on my statement. I think.
Flip-flop.
I think just thinking about it, the Dolphins had a walkthrough day yesterday, which is normally an in-pads day. Tuesday, they had a film day. Monday was an off day. So really, they've been letting the players rest a little bit. Today's a travel day. They're traveling tonight after film and walkthrough. They're not going to be in pads. They're going to go up to Buffalo tonight, and they're going to have an in-pad light practice tomorrow afternoon and again Saturday afternoon. My point being is that Flores, I think, is letting off the gas pedal a little bit and letting these players rest. And you might see a better reaction out of the team Sunday than I might have assumed otherwise. And maybe it's a closer game than we think. So Vegas is never wrong. 13.5 is a spread. Maybe I take the under and we lose by 6.
They're not never wrong, but they're mostly never wrong.
I'll take the under and we lose by 6. How's that? Jolie says I'm the VP of Flip Floppers because I'm talking to the president.
Flip Floppers, home of the #1 Miami fan morning show, right here on the MSM Podcast Network. Your boy Stephen D, my man Cameron 954 from East 32 Dolphins Tailgate, doing it big on this Throwback Thursday. My man was sitting in for the legendary, the one and only D-Dub, Dwayne.
And maybe he can sit in for me tomorrow.
Dwayne, you heard that? You are being summoned to tomorrow's show. Okay? You are being summoned for Spread Kindness Friday. Bro, this was a great show. This was a very good show. I want to give a big shout out to just a few people that donated today. Trucker Sean with the $100 donation was absolutely amazing. I think we had a $50 donation. I'm trying to go back through. I think we had a $50 donation. I can't go all the way back. It won't let me go all the way back. But I want to give a big shout out to anybody who donated today. It was big. Andrevia says, quit that job. I can't quit the job. Everybody wants me to quit my job, man. Everybody wants me to tell them if y'all want me to quit, y'all got to donate more. I'm just saying.
Who else?
Y'all want me to quit?
Someone else donated $50. Who was it? Sean's Spice? Who was it?
I think it might have been Sean.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome show tonight, Steven. You mean today? It might be tonight where you're at. A's, Dolphins, Grizzly World. Chase with the Chase won with the $50 donation.
Shout out to Chase. Thank you.
Me and Pete donate near every day. Listen to us.
Andrevis, he donates the knowledge, right?
He donates to the swear jar too. Him and Pete both do. I will admit that.
Well, he's the president of the Two and Ear Club, so we got to have him on.
All right. This was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I love you, brother.
Good, yeah.
Tell people what we got planned, what you have planned going on for Fan Club Weekend.
Woo!
Plug that with Tail Greeter.
Well, let's just say this, because I'm not going to take NorCal Dolphins candidate for NFL Fan of the Year, his thunder, because if I'm not mistaken, we might have him on next week or the following week and talking about this.
Yes.
East 32 is the host tailgate for Fan Club Weekend. We'll also be out at the Boat Campers meet and greet on Saturday evening. So come see us out there. If you're coming to the game,
you'll be on live with me for a little bit of that.
Oh, 100%. And you're going to be running the live podcast from East 32 Dolphins tailgate on against the Texans that game and against the Ravens. So we're excited, and we're got a lot of big things happening, and Mark will tell you all about it next week.
Yeah, I'm going to have a complete rundown of where we're going to be and where we're going to be live, because we're going to be doing live shows from Dirty Sportswear on the 2 Fridays there. And we're going to be doing a couple of shows from Sinbad Sports, the new location at Sinbad's. And we're going to be doing a live Monday night stream as well. We got a lot of stuff happening. So it'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun.
And we got the Sinbad thing going on.
Yep. That Saturday night event, the Saturday night meet and greet, Mark Duper will be there. So go to SinbadSports.com to pay for your VIP autograph signing and picture op with Mark Duper. That's SinbadSports.com. Purchase your ticket there. Go check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited, man. I have not been this excited in a while. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be cathartic, right? We're going to be able to see our Fin Laws, Fin Fam, and kind of get together and kind of forget the team's 1-6 record, or hopefully 2-6 at that time. Who knows? But I want to give a shout out to AB because that guy's been around this show from day one too, from the jump, and we appreciate you too, AB.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, congratulations to my man Chef Zhu, 6 months anniversary of him being a member of the channel. He's been here since day one. And big shout out to the newest member, Lance. Lance signed up this morning. Toby Delaire says, I'll be at the takeover in New York. So will I. Trucker Sean says takeover soon. So look, that's how crazy it's gonna be. So John Christopoulos, I'm saying that 5 times fast. $5 donation. Appreciate it, Chris. Or John. John Christopoulos.
He's trying to say we appreciate you.
Yes, I'm just trying to say thank you. Pete, can you play DFS? Cam, you play DFS? What? I don't know what that means.
I'm afraid to ask what DFS is. Like, I'll age myself here.
Yeah, so I'm doing 9 days in Miami, 2 games, coming home, having, I guess, a weekend, which I'm actually flying back that Saturday, to only that Friday drive up to New York for 3 days.
Oh, you driving?
I'm driving up for the MetLife takeover. So yeah, I have my next, I guess, 17, 18 days, 20 days are just going to be insane. Aldravius with the $5 donation, 2 and ears up.
A fantasy panel. Yeah, I do. I'm on FanDuel. I don't mess with DraftKings. It's too much for me, but FanDuel, yeah, all day long.
What was the difference? Well, I don't want to know the difference between the two, but
it's just fantasy draft sports.
I know what they are. I know that. I'm not out of touch. I was there at the beginning of it, but
just call him JC, John said. Fair enough.
Just call me JC. All right, JC Shazaz from NSYNC. Got you. That's what I'll call you. Hey, real quick. Are you a movie guy?
I mean, sure.
So real quick, underrated movie. Watched it over the weekend. Cruella on Disney Plus was a great movie. Great movie.
Excellent movie.
And Dune. I watched Dune. Dune was great. All right, so I'm about to really piss off a lot of people. Dune is better than any of the last 6 Star Wars movies.
So I'm even pissed people off even more. I've only seen Star Wars 1, and that's when it first was released in 1977.
Woo!
My parents took us in the Oldsmobile Delta 88 to the movie theater, stood in line.
Boy, the Delta 88.
Got my buttery popcorn all over my shirt, got whooped up on by my dad, and we sat there and watched Star Wars.
I love it. Wow, you really aged yourself there, bro.
Hey,
Steven, did you cry during the movie? I mean, I'm not saying I might have been cutting onions while I was watching the movie. Okay? Don't call me out on that. Stephen D. Dune was great. Dune was excellent, and I was so mad that it was only a part 1, and I'm going to have to wait 2 years for part 2 because they haven't even started shooting the second movie yet. I hate when that happens. If you know you're going to have multiple movies, just shoot all of them.
Dolphin Dan's right. You can go back in and watch it for free. That's right. 100%. That's true.
Oh, no. I just had to throw it out there because I was very surprised how good Cruella was. I was so impressed with how good it was. And
is Dune can my 10-year-old daughter watch it?
I think so. Would you let her watch Star Wars now?
The original, yeah.
Yeah, then I don't see there being any issue to that. I think it was good. Cruella was boring. The Dalmatians didn't even want to be in that movie. Gorilla Luke said.
Gorilla Luke. Hey, listen, shout out to Gorilla Luke because homeboy was sick, and he was really sick, and he was out at the game last week, feeling good, being his gorilla self again, and it's great to see. He
didn't need no IV or
No. He needed 2 shots of tequila, some Fireball, and a couple 100 Bud Lights, and he's back in the game. And we're all better with Gorilla Luke in the house. So shout out to Gorilla Luke.
Gorilla Luke, I love you, brother. There's nobody. Well, don't tell anybody else this, Luke, but I don't love anybody more than I love you. Don't tell my wife that.
Your wife better be at work.
I love you guys. Y'all are the best fans in the world. We'll see y'all tomorrow right here on Flip Floppers, home of the #1 Miami sports fan morning show. Clack Blockers. I love you guys. Y'all are the best. Thank you for donating to the channel. Keep on donating through the weekend. And we'll see y'all tomorrow right here, 8 a.m. on Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Clock Blockers. See y'all later. Peace.
Have a great day.